what episode? 135, right?
I don't know. You told me to be quiet.
Dude, I will slap the dog crap out of you right now.
If we ran Nintendo.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 135 of If We Ran Nintendo. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the greatest co-host in all the land, Mr. Sean Capri.
Bobby!
What's up,
Happy
Sean?
Happy birthday, Bobby!
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate
I could
that.
kiss you. I am so happy that you made it another year. It's like New Year's all over again, but for your birth.
It was shocking. It was shocking that I made it this far.
You made it.
But you know, we eventually we make it that far. Eventually.
Did you get a cake? Did somebody get you a cake?
No. You know what though? Carrie sent me cookies.
Cookies will work.
Yeah, cookies. You know.
So I was have like a whole cake to yourself.
So here's the thing, right? So Carrie all week, she's telling me she sent me a package of cookies. She's like, I baked them myself.
Wow.
48 of them. I'm like, I don't need 48 cookies, but whatever.
Did she think you were 48?
I guess. I think that's what she did. I think she was like, I'm going to send you 48 cookies for your birthday. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but she's like, I'm going to send you another gift too. And I'm like, okay. And then we're sitting there, right? And I keep breaking her stones about, like, I'm not eating this cookie first. Like, how do I know you're not trying to kill me? You know what I mean? Like, how do I know that,
good question.
That you're not trying to wipe me out? You know, and she's like, would you stop it? So today, I was driving home from work, and I was talking to her, and I said, she's like, oh, the cookies are so delicious that somebody probably stole them off the porch. And I'm like, the cookies were probably so poisoned that the person would, I'm going to pull up on my driveway, and there's going to be a dead person laying on the porch with, like,
this is dark.
cookies in her mouth.
And then Carrie's right there like, happy birthday, murder. Accidental murder on your driveway.
Exactly. Got the wrong person.
Yeah. The fireworks go off, and then that's when the song happens.
Yeah.
Everything would be so weird. God, birthdays are weird in New Jersey, don't you think?
Pretty much. So then I was going to do this thing. I was going to unbox the boxes that she sent me. She wouldn't let me. She refused to let me.
Very nice. Well, why? Oh, you never know what's inside.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been like, you know.
Could be a severed head in there.
Yeah.
Could be a bag of sand. Am I right, Luke Lore? Do you get this reference from the 40-Year-Old Virgin? Does anybody know? Maybe do you know the 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I know the movie, yeah, but I don't know what the bag of sand is. What's that?
Oh, son of a bitch! Really?
Yeah,
nobody knows this reference.
What are you talking about?
Oh, they ask him like you know when you hold a boob.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, and it just feels like a bag of sand. And he's a virgin, so he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Jesus.
They're like, a bag of sand. This is the second podcast I've had to explain that garbage on. Never mind. I'm never bring this up ever again.
Watch
a damn movie.
Watch better movies. I don't have to tell you,
Watch
man.
a movie.
Watch better movies. I don't have to tell you.
That's one of the great movies.
It is a great movie. It is a great. Well, I'm living that lifestyle now. I'm like the 45-year-old virgin.
Is it true? If you don't use it, you lose it.
I'm born again. Yeah, it's absolutely true. Born again virgin over here. Sean, let's kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with our shout-outs.
Fucks with fucks.
Oh, now you're back to that. I was gonna say you like flip-flop back and forth. You have any
I have something very special prepared, Bobby. I'm giggling a little bit, okay? So I know we usually have these.
I don't like this.
We usually have these shout-outs dedicated for everybody else.
Nah, don't stop.
But today's a very special day.
Stop it. Don't do
Today's very special. Bobby is turning the ripe old age of 45 years old. He's growing hair in places he never knew you could grow hair.
This is true, like my ears.
He's forgetting things that he probably should remember. And he's smelling a new 45 kind of musk. So for this, Bobby, I prepared not one, but two super Japanese haikus in celebration of your birthday. Are you ready? Are you ready? Do you know what a haiku is? Do you remember?
I remember you used to ask people to rate your reviews, and if they did it while taking a picture of you eating a sandwich or them eating a sandwich, that you would do it like a 5-star. I don't know. You do something with a review, a haiku. Whatever. Yeah,
send your reviews. That's actually a good call. People, if you guys like If We Ran Nintendo, please leave a review on iTunes or Google. I don't think Google counts, so like whatever. iTunes for sure. But bonus points if you leave your review in a haiku format. And for those who are new, Haikus are Japanese poems, and all you got to do is have 5 syllables in the first line, 7 syllables in the second line, and then 5 syllables in the last line.
Oh,
And
I'm scared.
are you ready for this, Bobby? Are you ready? Don't be scared. They're very nice.
Okay.
Okay. Count along at home, everybody. For my one shout out, I wish you happy birthday, Nintendo Guru.
That's it? That's it?
The second one, another year gone, you are getting pretty old, Nintendo Guru.
They're the crappiest poems I've ever heard in my life.
That's it. That's haikus. What do you want?
Oh, man.
I want other people in the chat and people to send in your happy birthday haikus to Nintendo Guru. I was just really happy that Nintendo Guru is 5 syllables.
Of course.
It's a default last line.
That's
so there you go, Bobby. That's my shout out. I don't know what you wanted from me, but
that's
what I got.
That's
I love you.
That's terrible. My shout out, I mean, obviously today being my birthday, the amount of people that like reached out to me today.
Shout out to your mom.
Oh, Mom.
She birthed you on this day.
Stop. Don't give her no credit.
Back in 1945.
That was the greatest day of her life. Please, stop.
She birthed you?
Yes. Her life was never the same. And then 2 years later, she had a demon seed bastard child, and it just ruined everything.
Good Lord.
He's a little son of a bitch. But
you came out of the womb, and you're like, what is up, everybody?
Exactly. And she's just like, what the hell's wrong with this kid? So, okay. So the thing is this. With today being my birthday, it's probably the most low-key birthday I've ever had. In terms of, like, I just woke up, went to work, came home from work, and then I streamed. But, man, the outpouring today, and there's just so many people. I'm not going to name names because there's way too many. But every single person that reached out to me today and was just like, oh, boy, would you stop it? Get out of the chat. Get out of the chat. We're not doing this. Anyway, so the greatest thing about this was so many people reached out to me on Twitter, on Facebook, Discord. My Discord was blowing up today. Holy crap. Thank you very much, Tim Wolf. I appreciate
Get out of the
that.
chat, Bobby.
That's not in the chat. That's actually on the screen. It's popping up right now. It's being recorded as we go. But seriously, like, thank you to everybody that reached out to me today. It means the world to me, man. You have no idea how great you guys made today. And I love you all. Seriously, this community has just picked me up over the last 2-3 weeks and just threw me on their shoulders and just carried me over the goal line, man, over the finish line. Like, I'd be lost without you guys. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so damn much. Seriously. 2 more quick shout-outs.
Oh, for the love of God.
Don't even start your nonsense. It's my birthday, man. Don't give me that crap. So the one is to Mr. Benji Kong again. And the reason why is because tomorrow I'm going to be on Switch Islands podcast.
No way.
Yeah, they invited me to come on. And so I'm doing that. And then Edward Varnell invited me to come on his podcast.
Which one?
Oh my God, what's the name of it?
Optional Opinion?
That's it. I think.
No, nice.
Yeah. And the topic, I actually like the topic, dude. What's the hardest conversation to have about video games? And I was like, boom, I love it. Like, I'm ready for it. I already have it in my head. Anyway.
Very interesting.
So I got 2 shows that I'm doing. I want to say this. I know that I'm very busy with doing a lot of stuff. But if there are people out there that would like me to guest spot on your shows, I am more than willing to do it. I will jump through hoops to be on your show. I just, I have one thing in the works that, man, if it opens up, it's going to happen. It's going to be with N64 Josh, because I don't know who listened to Breaking Bells this week, but man, that show was fantastic this week. That dude is a rock star. We're going to be doing something, but it's only going to be a once a month thing. It's not going to be, neither of us can handle an every week thing. But right. I am really, really excited for it. So it's going to be a blast. So,
Nice, man.
But anybody wants to jump in and invite me to come on some stuff, I'm more than willing, dude. I would love to come on some stuff. So,
What about the trophy room? Would you do that one?
I would do the trophy room. Yeah, I'd go on anything. Anything. I would. Sean, you give me an hour to bash Sony? Of course.
Good point.
It's amazing, man. An hour to go on a trophy room and just talk about Nintendo? Come on. Sign me up, bro.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay, so you don't have any more shout-outs before we continue?
No, I thought we had rules about
Well,
that.
no, but I just want to make Todd Oxtra just wait a couple more. It's my birthday. I just want to make him understand that I run the show, not him.
Hey,
that regardless.
Well, why don't you tell me you're playing Super Mario? Oh, Neil Lego's in the house. What's going on? Sorry.
Oh, Chris, man, what's up?
You're playing the new Super Mario Brothers.
Yes.
On the Wii U, but on the Switch.
Yes.
With Deluxe Edition.
Yes.
What do you think?
I'm enjoying it.
Did you make a Wii before me on the Wii U version? Like you just made a Raibo.
Yeah.
And then he was playing the game. Is that new?
That's okay. So what I had to do was I had to go back to my actual profile and pick a me, and then you could either use your me or a custom me. And I made a custom me, so it allowed me to grab him. But then there's these challenges, and that was in the original. There was these challenges you could do, and you could pick your me to actually be. I thought it was cool. Deuterino was just like, "Hey man, can you have Raibo?" And I was like, "Give me a minute." So I grabbed Ribble off the shelf and put him next to me, and I started like looking at his face. I was like, "Okay, that's the nose he has," and all that stuff. It's good. It's good, dude.
Well, I was excited to show Lincoln that you were playing that. But then you used the Ribble, and he wouldn't have recognized that was
you should have told me,
Mario
dude. You should have told me. I would have
No, it was fine. He needed to have a bath anyways.
Well, the thing is,
he did a really gross thing. Can I tell you something really gross that he did right at the end of the bath? It was really weird. Like he already does weird things in the bathtub, which is kind of strange. Like he kind of like goes to the end of it where there's a bit of a slope, and he kind of like humps the end of the tub and then just slides down on his belly. He kind of like he's gonna bust his teeth one of these days. And then at the end of the bath, and I was like, okay, buddy, it's time to do that. We're done. And then he farted in the bathtub, and then he took a sip of the water and spit it back out. So he ate fart bath water. He drank fart bath water.
Oh my god!
He had like the full bubbles and everything, just bloop, bloop. And then he just he took a little bit of a gulp because he thought that was really funny.
That's a thing. Okay then. Okay.
Yep. He stopped pooping in the tub. That was nice.
Okay,
that was about a year ago. Remember all the code browns we used to have?
Let's carry on. I used
to tell you all about it.
So we got two. We're moving on. Okay, so we have two topics.
Well, you wanted to delay,
and
you get poop stories. That's my default.
So we have the one we're going to hit with is the one that Tony Baker sent.
Tony Baker's amazing.
Again, we asked for topics like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and we got inundated with topics. So
yeah, we're good for another couple birthdays.
Yeah, man, it's so good that I was just like, let's just work through whatever we get to, but we're going to try to do them all. So Tony Baker said, he tweeted at us and said, if we ran Nintendo, this might make a good topic. What would you guys do to take the Joy-Cons to the next level? Would it be as simple as a more collectible version, or do we need to think outside the box with game-specific attachments? So he then linked this to a Resetera thread where they were just basically, as forums typically do, just tearing Nintendo apart for not basically doing some things that were kind of some artist renditions of some stuff. So here's the thing. What Resetera is calling for is for like these GameCube adapter, like these GameCube Joy-Cons, and we talked about this a couple of years ago. And when this all first started, we're like, hey man, we would do different Joy-Cons. We'd have like the NES ones. So I bought these, right? I bought these Joy-Con NES controllers, right? You can't see them right now, but so I bought these. I love them. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
What I would have preferred to do if it was me, if we ran Nintendo, I would have taken it a step further. I would have made Joy-Cons I would have given people an option. You can either buy these two, or you can also buy a set of Joy-Cons where it was just a D-pad on the left and two buttons on the right, and then a select start, and then that's what you have. Because I think that playing in handheld is ideal for so many people. And playing that, you can't play that in handheld. I know that I've seen pictures of people actually attempting it and trying it. Just doesn't work. Let's not talk crazy. It's not a thing. But for me, I would love to like just be able to use a D-pad for my left Joy-Con and 2 buttons on my right Joy-Con and just be able to sit there and play and lose myself in it. So for me, that's number one. I think that's one thing that Nintendo should have done. What about you? Have any ideas I mean, I have a whole bunch of stuff thinking through my head, but I don't want to just keep rambling. I want to give you a shot.
You're fine. You're fine to ramble, man. It's your birthday. First of all, you're okay to ramble.
Okay, then. Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah. Well, in that case, sit back. I got 30 minutes of content here. Well, I mean, I like the notion of the game specific stuff because you can get a little bit crazy, but at the same time, like we can all remember all the plastic junk that we've had kind of piling up over the years. So like one of the first things that I think of is like something for Mario Kart. But at the same time, like everything that I suggest, I have this like thing in the back of my mind that's like, I don't really actually want any of that. Yeah. Like I don't actually want anything extra, but if we're at Nintendo, I think we could make a killing off of all these extra things.
That's the thing. You could, I mean, you look at the Hori D-pad, right? And this is what I'm talking about. When you look at the Hori D-pad, which I have and I'm holding up now, you'll see it in a second when it comes on the screen. But anyway, the Hori D-pad, first off, it's not a great D-pad. Like when I put the Hori D-pad,
but at least it's a D-pad.
I get that. And I understand. But like for me, when you look at this D-pad that's on the NES controller, and then you look at this D-pad that's on the Hori, if they would just implement some of the things, it's as weird as it sounds. The little indentations on the D-pad on the NES just make it feel like home for me, and it just takes me back. And it's with the Hori D-pad, it's rounded off edges, where it's sharper edges on the NES D-pad. Again, just takes me back to home. It makes automatically just muscle memory starts coming right back to me. So for me, that's what I would look at, and I would go like, man, do the D-pad, but we don't need the analog stick above. You know what I mean? Like, just do a D-pad, give me 2 buttons on the right. That would be the one thing that I would do. Without a shadow of a doubt.
You still need an analog stick. Like you still need like that dual.
No. Because I'm saying I would make strictly NES ones. I would make ones that were look just like the NES layout. So you have the D-pad on the left.
I see what you're saying. Not buttons.
No. And 2 buttons on the right-hand side, and they would be a little bit bigger. They'd be bigger buttons. They'd be like these buttons, the red.
Here's the other thing that I want to jump on this. I think we can combine ideas, which is kind of where I'm going with this. This is a little bit of a pun for those of you who stick around. Yeah. So stick with me here. The Joy-Cons, they split off, and the idea is that when you buy a Switch, you have 2 controllers kind of baked in, right? Yeah. So you can just share and you can play it all there. What if you kind of went the other way? Like for a lot of people, if you already have that, what if you had another set of Joy-Cons that when you take it off, if you want to play like tabletop mode, or if you want to put it in dock mode, what if the Joy-Cons come off the side and they click together in a way that actually make them bigger, better, like almost like 2 parts of a Pro Controller kind of thing? So instead of like separating into 2 separate controllers, they actually pop into each other, like they kind of click into place, and they make you one controller.
That feels like it could be a little tight, though, if I'm being honest.
But they're larger though, like they're not. So you kind of have to rethink. Like they're not. It's not exactly like the Joy-Con grip, but essentially that's kind of what you're going to end up going for. So they're going to feel good, kind of like what's the
Satisfy grip.
The Satisfy grip, yeah. So you kind of have it that form factor, and they kind of clip together on their own, I guess, is kind of what I'm going for.
So with me, right? So now that you just said that, what I would also do is I would implement bigger backs on the Joy-Cons, because I feel like that's the one thing that's lacking. Like when I look at the Satisfy grip, which I think is fantastic, I think it's the greatest peripheral that there is right now for the Switch. But when I pull my Switch out of the dock and I slide it into this Satisfy grip, the one thing that I immediately recognize is the grips on the back are bigger, and it actually feels comfortable in your hands. Where when you just have the Switch, my hands cramp up, and I don't have big hands. That's the thing, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I have average size hands. I don't feel like.
But you're supporting the weight of the entire console and everything.
It just feels so. Yeah, so when I have the Switch in my hands without the backing, the insides of my I'm trying to do this all at once like an idiot. The insides of my palms starts to like cramp up. But with the Satisfy grip, I've never had that problem, and it's all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, this is the best thing. Like this is amazing. Right. So for me, if you were to do something with the batteries to make it just a little bit more meatier back there. So that way you're like kind of gripping the back of the batteries. Because I believe it's ARMS was what created this, where there was like battery packs that you could put on the back of the Joy-Cons to give the D-pad or give the Joy-Cons longer life. Maybe something similar to that, because when you think about it, when you take this Joy-Con off, right, it's just a skinny little piece. There's no reason why you can't put something a little bit more grippier on it or meatier to just make it more appealing to me. So that would be one.
What do you think? Like, I mean, the price of Joy-Cons kind of throws me a little bit.
A lot.
Like, I would be going crazy about collecting on Joy-Cons, but they're. I mean, I know that our dollar is crappy and everything, but they're like a $90 pair.
Dude, they're $80
like,
here. It's not like so 70. I think they're 70, but it's not like they're cheap.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's really good tech in them, but like I don't know necessarily that they look that way. And I don't know if I want something like visual for when like the rumble goes off or something kind of, I don't know, something gimmicky in that sense. I don't know what you think about that. Like,
well, because they're trying to sell you
in a way.
You know, they try to sell you on this HD rumble.
That's kind of what I'm getting at a little bit. Like, I feel like the HD rumble is kind of wasted because they are so small.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fine tuned in this tiny little thing that HD rumble, maybe we would notice it a little bit more if it was
bigger,
like in the Pro controller, or if the Joy-Cons themselves.
I was gonna say, like, I play
larger.
I play with the Pro controller, right? So I have the Pro controller. I have numerous ones. Everybody knows that. So I got the Pro controller, and it rumbles. You know what I mean? And I feel it rumble.
Sure.
But I don't feel that, like...
It's not HD rumble.
No, it doesn't feel like, you know how... Because I'm assuming... I mean, I never bought 1-2 Switch. Like, that was hot trash in the summer. I wasn't messing with that garbage. But that's probably the only thing that actually shows off true HD rumble. Like, I'm sure it's in Zelda, but I can't feel it. I can't feel the difference. I feel like I need a game that teaches me that, but I'm not buying it. If they give me 1-2 Switch, then we'll talk about it, but I'm not buying it. That game is...
Yeah,
trash.
I feel like something like some sort of like cockpit experience kind of thing. Like even like a Star Fox might do it, or maybe Mario Kart could do it as well. Like you definitely feel it in the like the Xbox controller has separate rumbles in each shoulder bumper, and you can definitely feel like if you're rolling over on the left side, it starts to rumble over there. So a little work could be done on the Joy-Cons on the rumble. I think a little bit. I think I'm kind of like just waiting on that. I feel like that's coming. To be honest with you.
Maybe in 2.0 version of the Switch. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah. The other thing that I start to think about is like how the Game Boy started to morph on us and became like a Frankenstein thing. Like, what if the Joy-Cons also had like a lamp on them or extra battery that they were charging or something else, something to make the Switch kind of like this monstrosity as you started adding these things on. Yeah. Well, what do you think? Are there things that are missing from particular games? You're like, man, it would be great if I had like a special button for this, or maybe like take the right hand side of the GameCube controller and just give everybody that big old A button and everything else kind of around it. Like, are there different button layouts? Not necessarily that you would want like the right hand side, the entire right hand side of a GameCube controller, but maybe different button layouts. You could kind of play with that a little bit.
Well, because I have this, I got this GameCube controller.
Right.
The Hori GameCube controller. And I think about it, and I'm like, man, that's a really obtuse layout to be on the right. You know what I mean? Like, that's a real the buttons, like, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know that I could ever go back to the GameCube controller. It just doesn't feel comfortable to me anymore.
We're in a weird well, I don't know who the minority is, but there's definitely a lot of people who will pay big dollars for all versions of the GameCube controller.
I know.
So if we were at Nintendo, I think we'd be silly to ignore it.
No. And I would definitely not ignore it. I definitely would lean into it big time. Because listen, this is what we're three consoles removed from the GameCube, and people still demand the GameCube controller. So for me, I look at it and I go like, okay, it makes sense financially, but I mean, man, I just don't get it myself. I can't figure it out for the life of me. I think we talked about this in the early days, pretty much right out the gates, where we were just saying we wanted a Joy-Con, a Pro Joy-Con, with a bigger analog stick on it, bigger buttons, because that's the one thing I do love about the Pro controller. Like, I feel like give you a little praise. Give your boys a praise. I feel like the Xbox controller is probably my favorite controller in my hand. It just feels very comfortable. But
I agree.
But the Switch Pro controller is right up there with it. But the one thing I love,
I like the way the buttons feel, particularly on like the A, B, X, Y. I think feel awesome. And where I thought you were going with the Xbox compliment was the customization that you can do over there with the design labs and everything. You can make your own. Like that's how you print money with Nintendo. You give people like a Nintendo selection of color swatches to pick from, and that's it. That would be amazing. Or sorry, like Mario Paint. Like if you got that particular yellow and that particular red and everything like that, I think that would be incredible.
Well, the thing is what I don't get, and I never understood this, and I never will understand this, is the continuation of we're treating 3 companies as 3 different entities. And it makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why in the world does Japan get the option to get multiple different Joy-Cons, right? They can sit there, they can mix and match colors, they can do whatever they want to do. And the United States, we're just sitting here with our finger up our bum and we can't do nothing. I don't understand it at all. And then, like, you look at, here's another example. Like Joey Splats today was talking about like what they're getting in for their deluxe game, for their new Super Mario Brothers Deluxe T-shirts, keychains, all this all this crazy stuff, and we get the game. That's it. And it's like,
it's not fair.
This is nuts. That different territories are like doing all these pack-ins, all these different things. I don't understand, and I don't know whether or not. Like, you can't tell me stuff like that's not going to sell here. If you were to tell me that I could turn around and I could buy another Nintendo Switch from Nintendo, and I could pick my Joy-Cons, I could pick my Joy-Con straps, like colors-wise, and bundle it together the way I want it done, and buy it, that I can't see many people that wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, like, I don't understand why they're doing it in Japan, but they're doing it nowhere else. So to me, it's like...
So that's why we need to run the show,
No
Bobby.
kidding, man. We need to kick Reggie out. Reggie's got to go, man.
Reggie, you're out.
You're out.
Bobby and Sean are in. Here's the new thing, and everybody's going to hate. Like, I kind of miss the days, not in terms of, like, my own sanity, but I kind of miss hearing everybody else losing their mind about Amiibo and how everything was limited. Like, it's been a long time since we had anything really limited. Maybe the Super Nintendo Classic, maybe not even that.
Not even that. That was pretty much good. It was the NES Classic. NES Classic was probably it.
So my idea is this, Bobby. I want maybe every month. Maybe it's not every month. Maybe it's because that you don't want. You never know when it's going to happen. But for 30 days, there is a limited edition set of Joy-Con. Maybe it's a left or a right or a pair, and it's, I don't know if it's gold or translucent or one particular color, or it's like the year of Luigi or some bullshit like that. Maybe it's a Kirby one just for you, Bobby.
No.
But you can only buy it in the month of March or something like that. And then by the end of the month, it's over and it's gone. And I guarantee it, there will be people who will buy every single one of them because it's super limited. You have like the number on the back. It's like one of 2,000 or 20,000 or whatever it
Probably
is.
Right.
And I feel like that would be really cool to like just have like a calendar of Joy-Cons. I don't know. That's kind of what.
No, and I agree. I think that something like that. I just feel like they started out the gates hitting us with all these different colors, and then it just stopped.
But you know what? I'm glad that I'm glad that they're not doing that in lieu of games at this point.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
It's like, well, you'll get Smash eventually, but in the meantime, we're gonna give you these special Joy-Cons, and I think people kind of like maybe be a little perturbed by that.
Yeah.
But maybe you pair them up with, maybe it's not just like a random month, but maybe it's like with every first party release, there's a set of whatever, 5,000 or 10,000 Joy-Cons.
So with
like the Wii Remote Zelda Gold, right?
Yeah, like, well, here's an example. Like, so with Smash, they put out the Smash Pro controller. It's a beautiful piece of hardware. But man, why not lean into that with the Joy-Cons and go, we're also going to sell you limited edition Joy-Cons. So you pick, do you want the Pro controller that's like this, or do you want The Joy-Cons.
Oh my god, do both. Holy crap, yes.
Like that's
Because
the
like
thing.
really I was thinking like I would want the Pro controller, but because the topic is about Joy-Cons, we're talking about Joy-Cons. But really, why not do
both?
of
It
them?
doesn't make sense to me, you know? Because there is that market that's just strictly handheld. There's people that just love handheld. So why wouldn't you lean into that? Why wouldn't you go, okay, we're going to basically lean into the handheld market as well as, and I think maybe that's why Japan gets what they get, because they're more of a
They have smaller hands, Bobby.
that too. Yeah. It's just a thing.
The thing is for me that like price is one of the things that kind of keeps me from collecting more of the Joy-Cons, but like ultimately I don't like the feeling of them all together. So I think number one, if we ran Nintendo, whatever variation or special edition that we're doing has to be a better Joy-Con. It has to be like some sort of Joy-Con Pro. It needs better everything. It needs to have a better grip, it needs to have better analog sticks, it needs to have a better D-pad or a D-pad. So all of those things I think combined, if we're going to roll all this up into a thing, combined with some sort of like limited nature of them. I think the red Mario ones were those are only available for a limited time.
Yeah,
I want ones made out of yarn or velvet or whatever. Or candy or something.
Like, so all joking aside, like Bad Bit, he just said Nintendo Labo controllers, you building yourself. Now, he's joking, but I'll tell you what, they put out the Nintendo Labo Special Edition console. That thing was gorgeous. But it was
I don't remember seeing that.
You could only win it. It was a contest, and it looked like cardboard, and the Joy-Cons looked fantastic. Man, that's the way your special editions need to be. That's the way your Joy-Cons need to be. You don't do Smash Joy-Cons, and on the left Joy-Con, you have a line going down and a line going like this, and on the right Joy-Con, it's just a line going across. That is so stupid. If I was Nintendo, if we ran Nintendo, Sean, honestly what I would do is you look at what they're doing on Instagram. Like when I look at guys like Mr. Space Heater, like please people, go follow Mr. Space Heater on Instagram. Kyle does the most fantastic custom Joy-Cons. Like unbelievable stuff. Like when I see them, I go, man, I would lose my mind to get a hold of one of these things. And it's just unbelievable. Like he had so you got the Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee ones, right? They were nowhere near as cool as the ones that Kyle did. Kyle did them where there was actual Pikachu and Eevee on each controller. The colors were more themed better to what the character. Oh, it was fantastic. And it's like you see this stuff and you're like, man, if I was Nintendo, this is what I would be doing. I would be taking it much more serious. Because here's the thing. As difficult as it is to buy, because I almost bought the Splatoon edition because I wanted the pink and green Joy-Cons. Like I was very close to pulling the trigger on that, but I was like, I don't want to spend $300 just for a set of Joy-Cons. The minute they put them out, boom, I bought the Joy-Cons. You could have people just specifically buying Joy-Cons. So if you did these really cool, like think about it, Sean. I got right back here, my left hand here that I'm pointing to it. There's a Metroid 3DS.
Dude, that's what I'm pointing behind me as well.
Yeah, you and I were dropping $200 a clip on these things, like it was nobody's business, and all they were. I haven't
opened my Majora's Mask one.
Yeah, and all they were special editions, and it's like, so you do something etched or like whatever, man, and people will buy it. Colors,
Animal Crossing, one of the best ones ever made.
It's awesome. Colors don't really necessarily move people, but you do something with cool little pictures on them, forget about it, man.
But that's why you need them to be just a little bigger, because they're just too small to really do anything. I feel like the real estate you got to work with is not really good enough. And a good example of that is the Pokemon one that they had just this past summer, this fall.
Yeah.
It was just, you couldn't do enough with them. So another thing that I would say is, we talked about how you would have like left and right sides of NES controllers, or even the NES ones that you've got, or the Super Nintendo ones. Like, what if they were just colored that way? Like, remember when they had the 3DSs they had like the NES design on the outside? We're like, oh my God, it's amazing. And like, you'd open it up and it's just a 3DS.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the top and the bottom of it that looked awesome, and the box itself looked awesome.
Yeah.
And people lost their minds over that kind of stuff. So just have a NES themed Joy-Con. It's just a skin. Like, this is kind of like no hanging fruit.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it would be unbelievably awesome. So real quick before we kind of move on, I'm not even sure how many minutes we're in on this. We're close.
Me neither. Nobody knows. There's no way to know.
Yeah, we're close to 45 minutes, I think. So where the question comes from me is when people started doing these mock-ups, what they were basically saying is, would we do NES Joy-Cons, Super Nintendo Joy-Cons, GameCube, all that stuff. So the question,
1000%.
You would lean into those big times.
Yeah.
But,
I feel like those were sort of like the no-brainer ones, which is kind of why I didn't really go into them. But yes, 1000%.
So and I don't know, the NES controllers, they're calling them NES Joy-Cons. I don't know that I necessarily view them as Joy-Cons per se.
Right.
But the thing of it is that I really feel like, since they're being considered Joy-Cons, we'll consider them Joy-Cons. I really feel like Nintendo is going to launch Super Nintendo ones next fall, and then start giving away Super Nintendo.
Can we hurry it up? Yeah. Can we move past the NES?
We're not going to move past
just
the NES.
NES Online, NES Switch Online, all the it's just garbage.
That's not going to happen until
nobody wants it. Nobody likes it.
Zelda 2, I want it. Stop it. I love Zelda 2.
Oh, good. You still playing Tecmo Bowl?
No.
Let's move on to the Super Nintendo Switch Online, or just give me my damn virtual console. I'll buy everything again all over again.
That's
God's sakes.
See what they did to you, Sean? You see what they did to you. It took them time, but they got there. Okay,
no, that's brutal.
So real quickly, I want to jump into Todd Oxtra's topic.
Fine.
He said, so far, Nintendo has doubled down on competitive multiplayer games: Splatoon, Mario Kart, ARMS, and Smash. Will we see co-op multiplayer, aka PVE, become a thing on the Switch? A Destiny/Anthem style game would be awesome. We have Warhammer. That's probably very close to a Destiny style game. I feel like
not Warhammer.
Warframe.
Warframe.
Yeah.
I just wanted to save you the comments.
Yeah, no, I would have got torn up on that. I know. For me, I feel like that's probably the closest we got at this moment. But man, I'm all for it. I don't know that Destiny can even come close to running on the Switch ever.
Hey, well, Bungie's independent now, so Nintendo can go after them.
Could you imagine?
There's no way.
We were talking about that. You know, it's funny because we were talking about last week.
I know
what third parties we buy, and then that happens, and I go, "Oh my god!" Because if we did run Nintendo, I'd be all up in their business, man.
Yeah, I don't think. I think Bungie's in for like bleeding edge technology.
No, yeah, they can't run on a Switch. They can't even look at a Switch.
They can't even look at a Switch.
They can't. It's ridiculous.
They turned to stone.
Yeah. So for me, I look at it and I go, "You're not going to get a Destiny on here. That's a given. It's not going to happen. Anthem is never going to run on a Switch. It just doesn't have the horsepower to run it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if this, and I don't believe that this iteration that everybody's talking about, this Pro Switch or whatever that's coming, in theory, Marcus Sellers keeps swearing up and down, and everybody keeps believing him. It's going to happen this winter, or this summer. But I don't even feel like that's enough to handle what these things can do. So if that's the case, and we don't have the power to run it, I feel like Nintendo is never going to be up to snuff to be able to run those games. So what I would look to do is, if I was Nintendo, I would turn around and go, we definitely have that hole in the market. Should we start to do stuff like this? Because I feel like if they did multiplayer campaigns with Splatoon, like, man, if you gave me like a boss rush mode or a raid mode where it was like, let's go. Like, they already did kind of like I don't want to say, it's not really horde mode, is it? Right? Where, yeah, it's like horde mode where like they keep coming after you in waves and waves and waves. How cool would it be to go like the single player campaign that's there? That's going to be your boss rush, your raid mode, and then you go in and you start going after bosses and stuff, and multiple people are attacking at the same time, and like ramp them up, make them a little bit more difficult or whatever, like raise their HP and all that, and like to me that would be a blast, like to do something like that.
Yeah. I'm really struggling to, because like what I think is kind of inherent in those PVE games is that sort of, it's kind of like a mix of massively multiplayer online games and a little bit of RPG elements. And I'm struggling on the RPG side. Like I'm trying to think of like maybe a Fire Emblem, like maybe there's something there that you could kind of populate the world with all the different Fire Emblem characters or create your own. Maybe that's something that could actually work, because I actually would really like to see them expand upon, of all the games. Like Mario's kind of been in every kind of genre. He's had his RPG, he's had all his things. I don't think Star Fox necessarily has been proven to venture off or transition into different genres, but I think that Fire Emblem has a certain, I don't know, maybe it's just the anime style that allows it to that it lends itself well to other genres. And I think,
I mean, let's be real, man. Metroid too. Like,
well, I was saying Metroid was the first one, but it's such a solo experience, and it's like Samus is like the only. It's just her.
I mean, why can't
so
we?
I don't know how you.
Why can't we do Federation Force 2?
Yeah, no. Oh, really? You want to run with that? You flesh that one out, buddy.
Well, I mean, listen, you're giving them a Metroid Prime 4. They should be inviting and welcoming a Federation Force. Just don't put it on the 3DS. Don't make it feel chibi. Like, make it feel like Metroid Prime 4. And I think
it's a natural crossover from, if you're talking Destiny and Warframe, like that sci-fi kind of like Halo kind of thing, moving over into Metroid. Like I get it,
yeah.
But like to me, like because like Fire Emblem Warriors, right? The Muso, I kind of want like something a little more than that. Like I like that I made that jump into that weird the Muso kind of game. But I don't know, man. I really like the Fire Emblem series. And what I'm really excited about on Switch is just to go a little deeper, a little closer to the action, just be a little bit more right there instead of kind of looking like at a tabletop type of grid. Yeah. And then every once in a while kind of getting, like, I'm really anticipating really cool things with the power of the Switch, getting it away from the handheld and having it more powered by console. But I feel like that would give us a glimpse into what it would be like to be in a Fire Emblem game in real time, aside from the Warriors game. That's my answer to Todd Oxtra is it's going to be a Fire Emblem game. We all get together. We either make our own character or we embody something like one of the characters that has because like really it's almost limitless. The number of characters in Fire Emblem over the years.
Oh, it's insane.
I think it's infinite. Like it's either infinite or like infinite -1.
I mean, you look at just look at Fire Emblem Warriors. There's so many characters coming out of the woodworks in that game. It's
look at Smash. Never mind that dedicated Fire Emblem game. Look at Smash.
Yeah, I mean, if you could, seriously, I mean, I'm looking at Zelda too, and I'm thinking like, man, if you could do like a Breath of the Wild type game, like Breath of the Wild.
Actually, imagine a Smash. Imagine like a Nintendo Land. Imagine like if the entire world was Nintendo. Holy crap! Okay, this is a better answer. This is a little crazier. This is the entire like what you can be a Mario. You can be like basically like a Smash or a Mario Kart. You pick your character, and you just go level up and you go on quests and everything together. It's your World of Warcraft experience. World of Nintendo. Warcraft. That could work, man.
Don't start. You're gonna get
that. You and I have talked about how crazy it would be if World of Warcraft was on the Switch. Like people will go.
I'm surprised it can't be. I'm really shocked that it's not. I think, but I'll be honest with you. I think Diablo was such a solid test for them. I think Diablo.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is this. I don't know if you've noticed this happening the past couple
that's
days.
A good call too. That's another way of looking at the PvE thing, because I'm thinking about it from like a first person or even a behind the shoulder third person kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like top down isometric, like Diablo or something like that.
Yeah, why not?
Ooh.
I mean, Diablo is a great game. It's a fantastic game. But like so here's the thing though. Here's the thing, Sean. I don't know if you've noticed this happening the past couple weeks. Nintendo has been retweeting these tweets from people, game developers, that are praising the Switch because they're saying that how many copies of games they've sold on the Switch compared to other companies. And
what was the last one I saw? It was like 8-1. The ratio was like 8-1.
Monster Boy, man. Monster Boy was
That's
like,
right.
yeah,
That is what it was. You're
yeah,
right.
Monster Boy was 8-1. And then today I saw one as well. I forget what game it was today. Just went up and they did it again, and I'm like, holy crap, dude, this is
Mm-hmm.
nuts. Like,
Yep.
but at the same time, it's almost like Nintendo's trying to tell people, like, hey man, this is the place to be. Even though we do know the true story is that like as many one-sided stories of how great things are, there's a lot of developers that are getting hammered right now being on the Switch.
But that's the same. That part is actually not unique to Nintendo. Like the bad side of the story
Yeah.
is like it's across the board.
Yeah, but
Which is
the
why
reason why I even got into that conversation was I feel like Diablo 3 probably did pretty damn fantastic on the Switch. With that being said, I do know that they discussed Overwatch. They did say that they're looking into that game running on the Switch, where I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's running on the Switch. It's not perfect though. They got to do a lot of things to fix it. But it would be fantastic if that game would come. Oh my god, it would be amazing if that game would come. But then I look at it and I honestly look at Warcraft, right? And I look at World of Warcraft and I go, why is this game not here? Like, there's no like you look at Diablo, right? And World of Warcraft is very similar to a Diablo in the mindset of like the way it looks, the way it battles. The cutscenes, like I look at the Diablo cutscenes, dude, they look pretty damn good on a Switch. It doesn't seem like they're that bad. Like, it doesn't look bad at all. I don't want to say that bad. I want to say they don't look bad at all. They look great in my eyes. Like, I look at it and I have to go, wait a minute, is this Switch or is this something else? Like, this looks really damn good. Now, I don't know what it looks like on other consoles. It could, I mean, when I look at the Switch version, it could be garbage. But to me, it looks really fantastic. So I'm looking at it, I'm going, if they can do this with Diablo, why can't they do this with World of Warcraft? And if you bring a game like World of Warcraft in, it's lights out, man. Well, because Babbitt's saying, because he's saying that it's 20 plus button game. Do you think that's a workaround?
No, I think there's always a way. I think there's always a way to work around that. Like there's 20 buttons on your keyboard. Like that turns into holding down a button versus just pressing it, or combinations of buttons or whatever else. Like
I don't know if you've seen. So Joy After Work, he has a Joy-Con grip. That's a keyboard.
What?
So he has a Joy-Con grip. The keyboard is here, right? And then he slides his Joy-Cons in, and he could type, or he could play with the Joy-Cons.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but
I've never seen that.
Yeah, man, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty damn awesome.
So
I mean, that's something that they could look at and go like, "Hey, why can't we do this?"
Yeah, but it's fine.
And then I was looking at there's a guy, Kevin Kennison. He's he's kind of like a tech guy.
Sounds like a real fake name.
Probably is.
Jacob
Whatever.
Jonathan.
So anyway, he does a lot of Nintendo stuff, and he was showing that there was a way to play with a mouse and keyboard on the Switch. There's an adapter that the keyboard is only like a few keys. It's the keys you would need to do stuff, and then you have the mouse with all the stuff. So I mean, like, again, it's peripherals that people would buy, and that would be pretty amazing if they could do this stuff. But I just don't understand why we're not at that level yet. And I think that if there's a company that can figure it out, I think Blizzard's the company that can figure it out.
I think Nintendo's the company. I don't I want it to be, because I think like there's a certain something to get over when it comes to like Diablo kind of like scares some people off. I think like there's a lot of people who recognize that it was a big deal and they saw all their friends playing it, but I think it still kind of scared some people off. I think Nintendo, like Splatoon is the shooter for Nintendo fans. Like people would be scared away if there was another shooter just brought over to Switch. Like not everybody's buying Doom or Wolfenstein or anything like that. Like they buy Splatoon and they buy it in droves.
Yeah.
So they need to kind of like take that Nintendo love and magic and formula to the PVE. Like I wouldn't necessarily just take those games and put them on Switch.
Yeah.
I think eventually those would work, but I think Nintendo's got to be the first ones to do it on Switch.
I agree.
To Todd's point. And I think it'd be that much more like addicting, and it would be something new. And I don't know that even a lot of the players,
because I feel like, and I'm agreeing completely, because I feel like when you look at a thing like Fortnite, right? Fortnite worked out but I think that's because people just wanted to try to play that game on the go. But I don't think a game like World of Warcraft works that way, where like you're saying, like you create something fresh and new in the Nintendo universe.
Fortnite kind of looks like a Nintendo game already. Like it
Yeah.
already, especially when you sit it side by side with PUBG. It's like that was the approachable one. That was the accessible. It's goofy looking. It's cartoony. It's not hardcore military tactics kind of thing. It's just like whatever. It's Fortnite.
Yeah.
So you kind of need that on the PVE thing. I'm really excited. We've talked about that type of thing. Like I want that ridiculously addictive gameplay loop that I've experienced with Destiny, and I think Borderlands is another good example of that type of thing. I want that in a Nintendo world. I want that to I want to play with some of my favorite characters and franchises over the years and just live in that forever.
Yeah.
And we haven't to Todd's point, and we don't really have that on Switch. It's
No.
one of the only remaining genres that we don't have.
No, I agree. And that's like we have everything pretty much. You know, like you know, if you think you don't have role playing games, sit back because they're coming this year. Like Square is just dropping everything on there.
Yeah.
And and that's like now. Let me ask you a question.
What about like Salmon? Is Salmon Run like good to you? Like I feel like Nintendo maybe there's a reason why they haven't really done this yet. Like maybe they're not that great at it. Like I don't think Salmon Run's anything to write home about.
So I like Salmon Run, right?
Yeah, like
I think
fine.
but I think what hurts Salmon Run is the fact that it's limited to when you can do it.
Right.
So it's so hard to be like, hey Sean, let's go play Salmon Run. Oh wait, it's not there. And then tomorrow I could play, but you can't play. And then the next day you could play, but I can't play. And then the next day we both could play, it's not available. So that's just BS. Like so here's the thing. I understand why Nintendo did it out the gates. Because they were worried about their servers and such, been able to handle. They were trying to keep their servers full on the turf wars. Just stop it already. Let people play what they want to play. And then, honestly, I think then you find out that like Salmon Run is a lot of fun. If you can get 4 friends on voice playing together, it is a blast. It is an absolute blast. So well,
you know what though, Bobby? The thing that upset me at the very beginning of this, or I guess the end of this year, the next Diablo game that's coming to Switch exclusively is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
That's true.
That's what we all want. We're all going to be playing that together, and it's going to be an absolutely amazing time.
So let me ask you a question. So, is it a matter of... So when we're talking PVE, right, and we're talking about World of Warcraft and stuff like that, and those types of games.
Yep.
Would if Nintendo was to make an MMO, would that work? Like, is that what you're thinking in those terms too?
Yeah, that's generally what I mean. Like, like something that is almost limitless. Like, it's always gonna. You can have like your daily challenges, just like you do in Fortnite has those. Like a lot of like big multiplayer games all adopt from the thing that makes you come back to them every single day, or your weekly challenges, or everything like that. But leveling up your character is really the thing that I'm kind of locking in on, and these like MMORPG or MMORPG light type of things. And that's really what I'm looking for Nintendo, is to kind of put their spin on making an MMORPG super accessible to everybody else, because you have the Destinies, and while I think they've done a pretty decent job in inviting people into the mix, there's still like there's this particular threshold you hit with Destiny that, whether you know it or not, there's an end game to it that is for experts only. And I'd be really interested to see how Nintendo tackles that, because I think that they have mastered this since the early days of Mario. You have like the base game, and all you want to do is just get into the end of the World 8 and beat the game, then you're good. But if you want to find every secret, if you want to find like all the little hidden things, the master level type of Mario stuff, they've been doing that since the early days. So I really feel like they have a better handle on balancing the master level end game type of stuff, but also making it super fun for the vast majority of people who will never experience that kind of stuff. Like, they balance that a little bit better. But in the Destiny world and other games like it, there is way too much good stuff that way too many people will never experience.
Well, and
that's really frustrating.
I mean, think about 3D World, right? We discussed this a million times.
Right.
When you unlock that upper world, and it's like the minute you do that, and you go, oh my god, there's all this stuff that is insanely difficult. It's not even close to being easy. So, like,
it's hard, but it's also achievable to get there.
Yeah.
And I feel like the game always trains you to be ready for the next level.
Yeah.
And just by like, you might be defeated in one world or one level, but like it's by defeating that one, you're gonna be ready for the next one.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like that's a really good example of they've perfected that, training the players from the original first screen in Super Mario Brothers, where you have to jump over the Goomba or you die. You have to jump over the pits or you die.
Yeah.
Like they've been training us on how to play these games since day one. Like Pete, that's day one of game design, is a Nintendo game.
Yeah.
So it's so core to their DNA. I would really like to see them take it to this PVE type of thing.
Yeah.
And create that addictive game loop for me as well. Just it has to work. But the server side is the thing that is really not going to work. As we see the Salmon Run, they're not going to be able to have like a game world exist for millions of players, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that's really why we haven't seen it up until this point, I think.
It would be fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be all about it, man. I would be all about it. So
my choices are Fire Emblem. If not Fire Emblem, some sort of like Nintendo Land, and if not, then I don't know.
I mean, I think my thing is, honestly, I've thought about it before. I would love for them to open up Zelda Breath of the Wild, throw in some more dragons, some crazy stuff, and then like you get your friends of 4 and you just go. And you just go. Like, it would be fantastic, man. Like, that would be so awesome to just be playing something. And then, like, because one thing I remember, the only real true MMO that I ever played was DC Universe Online. And I remember there would be moments where, like, Bizarro Superman would show up. And, like, all these players would just swarm him and try to take him out. You know, where Solomon Grundy was over in Gotham, and like all these players were like, how cool would it be to be like, hey man, there's a Lionel that's like a gold Lionel that like drops these crazy loot, and like 30 people just dive on this thing and go after it. Like, dude, it would be a home run every single time. Like that, to me, that's the game for me. Like, I would love that so much.
I'm picturing like this giant Goomba, and that somehow you have to like either get in a pipe or jump on like on a trampoline. You jump all the way up, and you get your one hit in, and hopefully there's like 50 people, and they're all jumping on this big Goomba all at the same time. It would be amazing, dude. There's so many like just Nintendo. It's just so playful, and all we want is this big playground of Nintendo stuff to just go live in forever.
Oh, so fantastic!
Imagine a big Kirby.
That is all. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of If We Ran Nintendo. Be sure to check out everything that we're doing. You can check out Sean Capri over on Twitter.
Who?
At Sean Capri. At Sean like Connery. Capri like the pants. Oh, you're such a bum. You can follow me over on Twitter at Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
Bye, bye. Happy birthday.
Thank you.